Good afternoon, traders. How are we? Trader Tom here from Simply Forex, and welcome to the live stream. It's been a crazy few days for myself, but yeah, I'm safe. I'm here doing the live stream, so yeah, we're all okay, guys. There's been some crazy reactions on the market, so we're going to take a look at how all of this, Iran, Israel, US conflict has unraveled in terms of the impacts on the market. And there's some really interesting things I want to show you guys about that. I also did a little video yesterday if you haven't caught that, so take a look at that as well, but not now. Don't leave the live stream, obviously. So yeah, we'll look at that. I've didn't trade yesterday because I was just like, look, this is pretty crazy. Let's see how the markets absorb everything. But I did actually take a trade today, which we're going to take a look at. And I'm interested in a few other trades, which I'm going to share as well. And we're going to look at the market reaction to all of this news, and what specific currencies and pairs we like off the back of all of this. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Obviously, we're going to take as many of your questions as possible, so don't be shy. You know the drill, guys. Come say hello, leave a question, and say, wow, Tom, your hair's looking great today, or something like that. I'm only joking. You don't have to say that. But yeah, guys, just from my point of view here in Dubai, obviously there's been lots of, missiles, drones being intercepted, but just that, right? They're being intercepted, which is great. There is, you get occasionally some of the debris come down and hit, buildings and stuff, but, it's been minimal, really. So yeah, we do feel safe here. But yeah, just crazy times for the whole region. And yeah, I don't know what to make of it all, really. So yeah, but let's focus on the trading and how it's impacted that. But any questions about any of it, guys, if you're interested in anything, you're more than welcome. You can ask me, right? No, you can ask me anything you like. What else did I want to tell you before we start? I cannot remember. I've got my coffee. I need my coffee. Feels like I'm drinking coffee every 20 minutes today. Let's say hello to a few people as they come in. So, hello, Lee. Hi, Tom. Hope you and your family are safe. Yeah, we're all well. Thank you, mate. Safe haven buying in gold isn't what I'd expected. It's as though it was priced in before the conflict started. Yeah. Yes. I mean, events like this aren't priced in, but I know what you mean. And we're going to look at that, actually. The safe havens you think would be flying, right? You think gold would be flying. You think yen would be flying. Swiss franc to a certain extent. But what has actually become strong is the US dollar. And that used to be a safe haven of sorts. It's just over the last year, really, the US dollar's, lost its potency, right? It's become very weak. But since this conflict, the US dollar has gained strength and has, perhaps reinstalled itself as a safe haven currency as it was before. So that's interesting. We'll look at that as well. Dan Laguna, hello, Tom. How are you, mate? Yeah, all good. Mohammed, hi. Buttercup. That's a very nice name. I like this name. Very reminds me of summer and yeah, summer. Tony Gold, how are you? So yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to the live stream. Let's start with a trade that I'm in, and then we're going to work through the market reaction to all of this craziness, and we're going to look at a couple of trades that I really like as well. They could be setting up today. So the trade that I've took is euro pound buys. And why have I taken this trade? Well, it's really a higher time frame trade. It's almost a monthly, weekly trade. And let me explain. So on the weekly, right, you can see that there was this level through here, right? Resistance, resistance, broke it, support, resistance, resistance, right? And we've broke through that level. So when you break through a level like this, there's a strong probability that if you break this level, you'll make it to the next level, right? And the next logical level are these highs in here. So my target would be this 0.8817, right? And then if we go to the day chart now, right, you can see, actually, let's go to the monthly chart, because as I explained, it was a bit of a monthly trade, right? And just look at February's candle, right? Doesn't get much more bullish than that. Totally bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, buyers in complete control. And like I say, we're just trying to take it up to there. So pretty much it was a weekly trade, really. And I spoke about this in my weekly Forex forecast, right? So please go check that out every Saturday. And can I just say the trades in my weekly Forex forecast, just get my words and teeth in the right place, has been nailing it. If you go back, well, not to spend a couple of minutes blowing my own trumpet, but if you go back and look at the last 4 or 5 weeks and you look at all of the trades that I suggested on the weekly Forex forecast, just look at the success rate, right? Stop blowing my trumpet now, right? Let's go back to the daily chart. Now, obviously, this candle is very, very bearish. I'm aware of that. But what I am seeing is a daily uptrend and a huge pullback into value. There's so much value in here, right? Because I can put my stop below this last higher low. And that's what I've done. I've put my stop loss all the way down here, allowed this plenty of room to play out. And the idea is just to come back up to here, you know, if not further, guys, as I explained. And that's why I've entered, right? It's an aggressive entry, but I've entered because of the monthly and the weekly and the daily trend, not the daily candle. And I entered, guys, basically because the H4, as you can see, is in a downtrend, right? But we're just using this last low here as a way to protect my trade. So we're in euro pound. Let's see what happens here. And also, guys, what I also want to show you is this. So I'm interested in a lot of trades today. So if we go to my, don't switch. If we go to the Discord, right? This is the free Discord. If you haven't joined it, join it. Otherwise, I will send the editor around your house, right? And you don't want him around your house. He's a lunatic, right? But all of these trades, right? The problem is with them, right? So Aussie dollar, the Euro CADs, the US dollars, the New Zealand CADs, the New Zealand US dollar, Swiss franc, right? These are all good trades in terms of direction. But let's look at a couple, right? If you look at Euro Canadian dollar, you can't get in on them, right? So I've woke up this morning, you know, prices around here, and it's just gone bang, right? No problem. I don't suffer with FOMO, but I can't get in on that trade, right? If you look at Euro US dollar, right? I wanted to sell that, bang. Yeah, this US dollar strength that we've been talking about is, you know, is hurtling. I don't know if that's the right terminology with everything that's happening. US dollar, Swiss franc, right? I wanted to buy this, but, you know, it just haven't had that pullback with these trades. So, yes, there's a lot of pairs giving us clear direction and we want to get into them, right? Especially this Canadian dollar strength, again, which we're going to look at. but we're just not getting these pullbacks with these trades, right? Whereas euro pound did give me a pullback. Now, with that in mind, right, there are a few trades that I like today. So let's look at these right now. Let me have another sip of coffee. Yeah, and also, guys, I had a little bit of cabin fever last 48 hours, but I went out today and I feel a lot better now. I was going stir crazy. But yeah, so let's look at the trades that I like that are potentially setting up, because all the trades that I liked have just shut off, right? There's not a trade here for us, but Aussie dollar, US dollar, right? This could be setting up, because if we look at the daily, right, I set my alarm at these lows, right? We can delete this now, right? In fact, I'm going to put this here, because what I want to see is a break of these lows, right? So as you can see, we was in this daily uptrend with Aussie dollar, US dollar, right? Is this a double top pattern? If it is, we'll get a break of these lows, right? And therefore we have a break of trend, right? Because the next time I see you guys will be on Thursday's live stream. So keep an eye out for this break of structure if it happens. Obviously, the VIP crew, I'll see you tomorrow in our mentorship session. And if you're interested in our mentorship session, guys, please go check on the links in the video description and come join our Discord channel. So if we get a break of this low in here, guys, I really like Aussie dollar, US dollar sells. I'm only going to take it back down to the next piece of support here, but that is still a good 100 pips, right? So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for today. Will I trade a H4 break? Yes, I probably would, right? But you can see we're not getting that at the moment. Right, so let's make this level clear, right? This is what I want to see. I just want to see a break of this level here, right? And obviously right now we're not getting that. In fact, we're getting a very bullish reaction at this level. But Aussie dollar, US dollar, we get a big bearish candle, potentially a pullback, right? I'll be looking to sell that. So that's one trade I'm keeping an eye on. What's the other one that I like? Swiss franc yen. Now again, right? Yeah, and I want to show you some really interesting stuff about the reaction to all of this as well, right? Yeah, but let's focus on the trades that I like first of all. Now, Swiss franc yen, right? We've had a H4 structure break, right? You can clearly see that we've broken this low, but what I do like is firstly the daily, right? I liked Swiss franc yen probably about a week ago when we was in here, right? It didn't play out. We saw loads of strength, and I actually got stopped out of a trade here. But look how prices reacted at these last highs again. Look at that big bearish candle from yesterday. So I really like this reaction at this level. And we've had that H4 structure break. Now, as I alluded to, word of the day, earlier, the problem with a lot of these trades and on the back of this geopolitical craziness is, can we get in on the trade, right? This might just do that. And I don't have a trade. But you can see where my alarm is, guys. If we get a pullback into here, right, catches up with dynamic resistance here and this trend line which is acting as resistance, if we get a pullback into here, I am all over Swiss franc yen. But the big question at the moment is, will we get these pullbacks or will price just fly off? If it flies off, I don't have a trade, right? And I also don't think, oh shit, I wish I got into that trade. It's just not a setup, right? So I don't sweat it. I don't sweat the technique. Who was that? That was a very famous 90s rap group. I can't remember. So yeah, Swiss franc yen I like as well, and also New Zealand Swiss franc. So we're seeing a bit of we're seeing a bit of Swiss franc weakness, right? Now, if we look at the daily here, ultimately, I know you see this candle here, right? This is still holding on to this trend line. It is. I know you're probably thinking, Tom, you crazy mofo, but it is, right? It's holding on to this trend line. Now, the final piece of this jigsaw, right, and also it was a weekly trade idea, right? Again, you know, obviously we've had some crazy reactions, right? But if you take this weekly candle away, right, we were just nicely bouncing off this trend line, and you know, these candles were still telling me it's okay to buy back up to here. Now, as these last couple of days have transpired, second word of the day, right, we can see that every time price comes down here, right, around this trend line, just look at the buyers, right? There's just so much buying pressure in here. So I'm still interested in buying it, but you can see this sort of, you know, area of resistance here. So on the H4, right, if we get a break, you can see my alarm. So when that alarm goes off, I will jump into action like Chuck Norris. And then when we get, or if we get a break, sorry, not when, very presumptuous. If we get a break, something like this, right, then I will start buying and put my stop loss below this last swing low on the H4. And I can just about get my 1:1 risk to reward. All right, guys. So yeah, that's everything I'm in and what I'm looking at right now. Yes, Dan Laguna. That's bloody right. That's what it is. So Don't Sweat the Technique was from Eric B and Rakim. Great album. Yes, it is. Dan Laguna, we should go for a drink sometime and talk about old school hip hop. Right, what else are we going to look at? Yeah, so yeah, this is what I really wanted to show you today, guys, right? So let's look at this, right? Let's look at Aussie dollar yen. And let's go back to when the markets opened, right? So if we go back to here, right? Now, this is Friday night, right? This is Friday night, okay? Now, every trader and his friend, okay? Now, on the back of this news, every single person I know is going to be saying, I am buying yen strength. And to buy yen strength, Aussie dollar, it would basically mean you're selling Aussie dollar yen, right? And every trader, dog, and his mate would see the open, right? They would see this massive, let's look at it on the H1 actually, right? They would see this massive gap down. And then they would be going to all their trader mates, look, I told you yen would be strong, you know, and look at that massive gap down. And then the temptation would be to be, right, once this gap is filled, I will start selling Aussie dollar yen. I'm a bloody trading genius. I told you yen would be strong, right? Let's be honest. I bet you've all had that conversation over the weekend. I bet you was all wishing, I wish I was in a gold buy trade and I wish I was in a yen strength trade, right? I said those exact words, right? To friends who don't really care about trading and they're like, why are you talking about yen? But I said it anyway, right? Now, look what happens, right? And it just goes to show, do not trade what you think, right? Because everyone would be thinking flight to safeties, let's take advantage of it. And I'm not saying over the next couple of days, flight to safeties will kick in and you know, we'll have some, you know, great flight to safety trades. That may well happen. But don't jump in on a trade, right? Don't start thinking, right, I'm going to start selling here. Right, it's filled the gap, I'm off. Because just look, if you would have got into that, you would have put your stop loss somewhere in there and you would have been stopped out, right? You would have been putting your stop above these highs in here and you will be stopped out, right? So it doesn't matter how big the geopolitical news is, you still have to trade what you see. And if that is the case, right, if we go to the daily chart, you still have to ask yourself, right, again, if we go back to Monday, right, you still got to ask yourself, right, what's happening in the bigger picture? We are in an uptrend, right? Aussie dollar yen's looking like a buy trade, regardless of geopolitics. And nothing right there is telling me to sell it. And even if you did get into that trade, right, if we play it along one candle, right, we had this big bullish candle. That was Monday's candle off the back of that news, right? It's still not telling you to trade yen strength, right? So don't be so quick to have knee-jerk reactions and jump into this, right? Trade your system, trade what you see. Don't try and take advantage or quick profits off a bit of geopolitical news or panic or whatever it might be, whatever emotion you're feeling. Don't do that. Now, you know, if we do start to see, you know, big bearish candles come in and then we get a break of structure, right, okay. Yeah, now our system's telling us to sell. But don't be in a rush to jump into that. If you look at gold, right, on the daily, yeah, we've had that, we had that big jump, right? So there's the Friday's close, and there is up here, there is Monday's open. So of course we had a gap up, right? It's not like you can get into that trade. You know, you can't buy that at the weekend. You can't get into that trade Monday. You can't take advantage of that. But, you know, what if you started thinking, oh, I want to get into gold, I want to get into gold, right? And you looked at the H4, right? And you started getting in here, right? And it was just a knee-jerk reaction, stops in here, you're going to be stopped out again, right? Now, I'm not saying gold isn't a good buying opportunity. In fact, right, this level, if we go back to the daily, this level's looking like a really nice level to trade from. Okay, this could be an interesting level. But now I'm trading my system, right? We're seeing a daily uptrend. We've had a retrace into support. If we get a nice bullish reaction, we can start buying gold, right? So that's one of the reasons I had Monday off. I was just like, look, firstly, I don't want to start doing knee-jerk reaction trades. Secondly, I was is emotional the right word? Yeah, I was a bit emotional, and I'm in this conflict, right? And I was probably not in the right frame of mind to trade as well. So I just said to myself, day off, let the market absorb all this news, and then come back to it today. And that's exactly what I've done, right? So yeah, they would be things that I would, share with you regarding big things like this. And another thing I must share with you is, I always say to you guys, oh, don't trade the noise, just listen to your system and all that, right? Yes, that is true. But I've never been in it, and it's been very difficult for me to remove my emotions from the situation, right? I'm really feeling the conflict. I cannot block out the noise. I have not been able to do that. And so I haven't really traded, right? I know I've traded euro pound today, but I've given myself time to, sort of calm down a bit and absorb everything. But it's been very difficult for me being in it to distance myself from the noise, right? And I know, like, before, you know, this is really interesting, right? Like before I was, you know, people are like, oh, what about the Russian-Ukraine conflict? What about the Gaza conflict, Tom? Does that come into your thinking? I'm like, no, 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 it's all noise, right? Now I'm in it. It's a, you know, it's a totally different ball game for me. It's been difficult for me to emotionally detach myself and trade how I normally would. So that's something I just wanted to share as well. So yeah, there you go, guys. All a bit crazy. Right. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to share with you guys. Apologize if I've been rambling, but yeah, that's everything I wanted to show you. So let's take some of your questions now. Also, guys, before I take some of your questions, please don't forget to check out the things above my head. So we've got the website. If you want access to all of our premium trading education, please go check out the website. Yeah, you can get access to it all there. Please come join our free Discord. It's a beautiful community. We've got some marvelous traders in there. So come join that, learn from others, enjoy yourself. Also, guys, please come and check out our Pepperstone promotion. Yeah, just come and inquire about it. There's so much value to joining Pepperstone as a broker. We've made it impossible for you to say no. Although I know people don't like changing their broker, but you know, there's so many reasons to do so. So come check that out, guys. And also what I want to share with you, if you do join the Discord, not only will you get loads of cool stuff, but there's also a Sunday live stream now. So UK 12 noon, Brett, one of our in-house traders, goes through all of his key levels for that week. And also in there, guys, we've got Room 101, which is bloody doing well. Couldn't think of better words to describe it. But in there, you've got a great trading community. You've got great strategies that the guys are all doing well with. So get involved with that too. Yeah, we've got so much cool stuff. Go check it all out. Right, what else are we looking at now? Yeah, okay, so good point here from Lee. Yields have risen, and as you said, the dollar being as strong as an ox, which affects gold. Yeah, obviously gold is against the US dollar. Yeah, so if you look at my screen there, gold against the US dollar. So if US dollar's strong, we're going to see that. It'll be an interesting battle, right? But ultimately, gold, the longer this conflict goes on, who knows how long, gold is going to be the winner. Right, gold has become the ultimate flight to safety, right? So again, so much news supporting gold buys. Hi Luigi, how are you? Poo Poppy, the market has been nuts. To everyone on TikTok, if you're thinking, why is Tom just shouting random things? These are all the comments we're getting from YouTube. Market has been nuts. I put in a trade that I thought would take a few days, hit TP in 3 hours. Happy days. That's how you want them. Yeah, gold has gone crazy indeed. Poo Poppy, I don't like all the extreme volatility. Structure and support can't really be trusted. Yeah. I hate volatility, which is another reason why I hate Trump, right? Since he's come into power, he has single-handedly created volatility in the markets, right? What I like is a market, let's say I'm buying, you know, they're in an uptrend and it's just slowly following the uptrend. It might retrace a little bit, but ultimately it follows a nice, slow uptrend, right? Trump's like, you know, let's do it on here. You know, I like to see a nice, yeah, I get in here. We can't pick bottoms. Let's say I get in here somewhere and then the market does this, right? It can do what it likes. And then we're just in this nice, slow uptrend, right? Since Trump's come into power, it's like, right? I hate this. I like this, obviously, right? So, yeah, but more so with times like this. Yeah, structure, support. Again, it doesn't go out the window, but what you have to do is widen your time horizon, right? So rather than get caught up, if I look at the hourly chart on gold, right, shit looks crazy, right? We're up here, we're down here. If I show you the daily chart, not crazy at all, right? We've broken a key level. We're in a nice uptrend. We've retraced to support, right? So change your time horizon, right? If you're getting caught up, you're thinking, Christ, this is all volatile. Just come out, come out, come out, right? If you look at the weekly, right, just an uptrend. Yeah, nothing too crazy happening, right? So that's important as well. What else are we looking at? Okay, Tony took some gold shorts. Okay, Tony's a bit of a intraday scalp with gold there. Braver man than me, Tony. I wouldn't be shorting gold right now. Okay, so Dan Laguna. Okay, this is an interesting question. Let's just carry on down, guys, see what else we've got here. Okay, so we've got loads of stuff coming in. Got to share this one. So, Mike, trade what you see. If you see it, trade it. Roy Walker. Do you remember him? Game show host. Didn't he do what's the game show that he did? What's the one where you see things on a screen and you got to work out what it is? Oh, somebody help me out, please. But let's go back to this question. It was interesting. So the martingale strategy, right? So I did this in a Las Vegas casino, but only with a small amount of money, right? So just with mates, this was this before I started trading? It's going back many years, right? But basically, right, you have, to put it in roulette terms, right? So you've got black or red, right? Obviously, you've got zero, which gives the house an edge, right? The house always has an edge, right? But you have red and black. So the idea of martingale is, right, I put $10 on red. If it comes in, great, I make $10, right? I remove my trade, my bet. Right, I put another $10, red again, I win again, right? This time I put $10 on red, but we have a losing trade. So then I put $20 on red, we have a losing trade. I put $40 on red, we have a winning trade. I've then covered all of the last 3 trades that we had, and I'm back to break even, but plus the $20 I've already made. Now, I like that idea when it comes to roulette because it's binary. I don't like this idea with trading because there's too many factors to consider, right? With roulette, it's red or black, right? Your brain can cope with martingaling that, turn martingale into a verb, right? But you get what I mean? You can cope with that. But a martingale strategy, basically price is going to go against, or you have a losing trade, you'll go in again. You'll have a losing trade, you'll go in again. Ultimately, the market will have a retrace. But it's very difficult psychologically to deal with that amount of drawdown, right? Trading the martingale. And also, you have to have very big pockets to make not much profit, right? So, if we go back to the roulette example, even after 10 roulette bets, if you like, it goes 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1280, 2,500 and something, 5 grand. So from betting $10, if I have 10 losses on the bounce, which is unlikely, I need to have $5,000 to basically start covering my first $10 bet. So that's how you need to think about martingale if you're going to trade it. You need deep pockets, but there will be a very high win rate. And I do like the idea when it comes to roulette. I don't like the idea when it comes to trading. So there you go, Dan Laguna. Yeah, I've done that in, I can't remember the casino in Vegas. Yeah, can't remember. It was, let's say it was a good, what was there? It was there for about a week. Yeah, a little bit hazy. Hi Fapello, how are you? Tom, pound US dollar, and Andre. Okay, let's have a look at pound US dollar. Now, US dollar is strong, right? You know, the problem with it is, and as I said at the start of the live stream, it's, you know, it's catching these moves, right? You can't start selling here, right? You just can't. I'm not saying you can't, depends on your strategy, but there's no value here. And that's the problem. US dollars come in strong, you know, strong like bull, and it's flying. So do I want to start selling here? No, is the problem. You're also at a support level, right? This is proven to be a pretty good support level, right? Many times, right? So will we get a sustained reaction here? If you look at yesterday's candle, right, that's a very bullish reaction. Now, if today's candle, we're bearish and we see a break, right, with a big bearish candle, yes, I'm a pound US dollar seller, but again, I just don't want to sell it here. I want to see a retrace into value. And if this, let's say this candle finishes exactly like this and the wick closes back into that wick, I'm definitely not a seller. That suggests we're finding enough buyers at this level to push it up. And then what you also have to start thinking, if we go to the weekly chart, right, and price holds on to this level, right, you know, really, you're a weekly buyer. And I would aim for these last highs here. So pound US dollar, not interested in. I want to see, I just want to get more confirmation of what's going on. It could be a buy trade from this level, right? It could be a sell trade if we break it, but there's no value. There's too many permutations. Third word of the day. Don't ask me to spell it, but good word. Good solid word that. So yeah, pound US dollar not interested in. Like I said, the one I am interested in is Aussie dollar US dollar. Because if we do get, if we go to the daily, if we do get this break here, it's a fresh structure break. Right, we're in this Aussie dollar uptrend. We've stopped making higher highs. Maybe we get a nice bearish daily candle that looks like this. If that happens, that is a fresh daily structure break. And I will be all over this, okay? Because we're also looking at a risk on, risk off environment, right? And if this continues to be a risk off environment, Aussie dollar will become weak. Right, so not to talk about fundamentals so much, but that's a correlation you need to be aware of, right? So I'm interested in this trade, whereas pound US dollar is already down here, right? Selling here with Aussie dollar US dollar is much more appealing than selling here with pound US dollar, right? So yeah, that's the US dollar pair I would be interested in. What else are we looking at? Yes, don't sweat the technique, Eric B and Rakim. So if anyone, well, I don't care who you are, what age you are, go check out Don't Sweat the Technique by Eric B and Rakim. It's a bloody good album. What else are we looking at? Not catchphrase. What was it? What did Roy Walker do? Somebody help me out. Catchphrase. It was catchphrase. Okay, there we go. Buttercup. Can we look at Sol US dollar? What the hell is Sol US dollar? Let's do it. I'm interested. All right, let's type this bad boy in. Sorry, guys, I've got my mic in the way. Oh, bloody hell. See, my mic's proper in the way. Right. Okay. So it's one of the old Bitcoins, one of the old cryptos. So you're a kryptonite, Buttercup. All right. Buttercup, the name doesn't suggest crypto trader. Right. Well, there you go. This is how I would trade this. This is consolidation. Right. There. Right. I do not want to be in that. What I teach people, right, as part of this channel, within the Discord, part of my mentorship, the course, VIP, right, is facts on a chart and crunching the data and applying logic. Right now, logically, I don't want to be in this. Right, you've got sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. Right, so we do not know who is the winner. Right, in here, there's a good argument for buying, there's a good argument for selling. I don't want that, but what I do like is market consolidation. Now, if we get a break of this level, I am very much what's this one called? Coinbase. I am very much a Coinbase buyer, right? I would aim for a level like this, right? Last piece of resistance. If we get a break of this consolidation, I'm still a little bit hesitant because we've got this, right? So we get a break of this, well interested in buying. We get a break of this, less interested. But if we start breaking this low as well, then really interested in selling as well. So yeah, don't trade consolidation, trade the break. Okay, so if you look at the weekly, it's broken some key levels as well, right? There's these lows in here, right, are all quite key levels. Yeah, so, but look at this, right? This suggests it wants to pull back, right? So we're in a downtrend. Rarely does price do that, right? So chances are it wants to pull back. It wants to find a support level, right? We've got our dynamic resistance here as well. That would be a really good level for selling. But until then, if we go back to the daily, we get a break of this level, I would be buying to that level, right, which is through here, and then I'd very much be interested in becoming a seller. So Buttercup, that is how I would trade that. Yeah, and you're welcome, Lee. Yeah, thanks for sharing your personal experience. There's a lesson there as an example for when not to trade. Yeah, I was emotional, right? I was just like, right, stay away from the charts. Yeah, and there's lots of reasons to do that, guys, right? Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, catchphrase. Yes, it was catchphrase. Permutations. Thank you, Lee, for spelling it. I would have been there all day. Okay, Solana. Right, I've learned a few things myself today as well. Guys, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button and the notification button so you get an alert for all of our vids, all of our live streams. Also, please go check out the website. Please come join the Discord and please check out the Pepperstone promotion we've got right now. All the links are in the video description. Stay safe, everyone. Shit is a bit crazy right now. Stay safe, and I'll see you on Thursday. VIP crew, I'll see you tomorrow.